Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Zoom In on the Halal Metropolis, where we're discussing the coronavirus and seeing how it's affecting different folks in our community. And here with me now, I have Shiraz Ahmed, who is the Digital and Audience Engagement Editor at WDET, Detroit Public Radio. And he's also an independent documentary photographer and filmmaker. Welcome, Shiraz. Assalamu alaikum.
Thanks for having me. Walaikum Salam.
Yeah, good to see you. And so I know that you're working on a bunch of things right now, both with WDET and also your own film, Alive in Detroit. But before we get into all that, how are you holding up amidst all the stay-at-home order and the quarantine?
I'm good. I mean, I'm lucky. I have a secure job. I have a place to live. For the most part, my immediate family and friends have been fine. So I'm really lucky. I will say the whole experience is kind of anxiety inducing. I'm a people person. I'm not used to being home for this long without seeing anybody but my mailman. So that's something I've been struggling with.
Yeah, no, I'm in the same boat. It's just me and my apartment and my cat. So we're going stir crazy a little bit over here. So, but I wanted to ask you a little bit about WDT. I know that there's been a lot of coverage about the virus, but how has your work at the station shifted in the last couple months?
For a while, it got a lot more intense. We just had a lot more news we were covering, a lot more things we were putting out. I work on the digital side of things. So I'm on WDET.org. So we were putting a lot more of the on-air work that we wouldn't necessarily putting that up. So in general, the workload was greatly increased. It's shifted down a little bit. I mean, kind of the other side of it is, it's all kind of depressing or stressful. It's stuff that takes a lot more thinking in how we present it, because we want to be making sure we're presenting accurate and ethically informed information, which can be hard when everything's changing all the time.
Yeah. And are you guys doing any special projects right now or series?
So the big one we're doing is a 6-week, what we call multimedia introspective, called COVID Diaries, Stories of Resilience, which basically we saw two big issues. One, that the arts community was greatly suffering during this time. And two, because all of the news itself was pretty difficult to swallow, we wanted to be able to talk about what everyone's experiencing in a way that doesn't touch on it so directly. So we commissioned 5 documentary photographers and 1 creative writer to create 6 chapters where we'll give them a new theme each week, and they have to create work around that theme. So this week it is We All Know Someone. So it's probably the most difficult week we would have, because the writer herself has had several members of her family and friends pass away. A number of the photographers are dealing with people who either have COVID or are worried about their family. But it's profoundly moving work, and I think it accomplishes the goal we set out in that it talks about these difficult issues in a way that is more easily digestible, which is what art is there for.
Yeah, and please share any information about the COVID Diaries project with us, and we'll be happy to put that out there as well. So, and I know that you're also working on a couple of independent projects. What are you working on right now?
So the big thing is my feature documentary film, Alive in Detroit, which is a film about public health and kind of the way people access our healthcare institutions. So obviously this is both a great time for the film, but also a really difficult time. A number of the people in my film are immunosuppressed or otherwise kind of health compromised, so I haven't been able to really film with them. One of my subjects got COVID about a week ago, although he's doing better now. So it's been stretching my creative muscles to figure out ways to kind of capture what's happening while also keeping myself safe and keeping my subjects safe and doing it all ethically. But it's with documentary films, shooting the film's like 10% of it, and then there's all this other stuff that's just 90% of it. So I'm working on that stuff as well too.
So you're making a film about healthcare, and now we have a pandemic. I'm sure you're thinking about how to incorporate or if to incorporate what's going on into your film. What are your thoughts on that?
So at first I was both thrilled and depressed. I was thrilled because now suddenly everyone's talking about the things I've been trying to talk about for several years. But I was also depressed because I realized since this is such a momentous, once in 100 years occasion, there's going to be a lot of work coming out of this. Probably a lot of work out of Detroit itself. So it almost feels like kind of the thunder behind it's been stolen a little bit. But I figure what I have is I have the subjects I've been working with for several years now. At least two of whom are healthcare workers, and one of whom works with a lot of kind of disadvantaged people. And so I figured I could just, work the relationships I've already built up through photography and through film to try and cover this story in my own way that no one else can. We'll see how that works out. Ask me a year from now.
Yeah, I know it's probably something that's kind of hard to tell because it's not like something you're writing into the film. It's something that's happening to all of us, and you're just
Right.
responding to it. And so I'm curious because I know a number of friends that are working on other films right now, and they're sort of grappling with the same question of how or even should this be become part of the storyline. So.
Right,
Um,
yeah. And I think there's no right answer, right? I was just talking to some filmmakers working on a film about masculine presenting lesbians, and the director was like, I don't want to have like a Zoom call segment. I don't want to have a COVID segment, but I do want, 6 months from now when I can return to filming, I do want to have people reflect on how they kind of changed during this time and how they rethought things. So I feel like there's a number of ways you can approach it.
Yeah, and I know that production is likely to be stalled with your project, but what are you hoping to continue to work on to keep the project going in the meantime?
So actually inspired by COVID diaries, I started keeping my own audio diary to kind of record my own thoughts as we're going
Hmm.
through this. I filmed kind of an interview with myself, my story, my family story is part of it. So I filmed an interview, or not really an interview, a conversation with my mother, as well as some of my characters. And I also have, I should say protagonists. I also have them recording kind of video diaries and
Hmm.
submitting those to for use. Other than that, I'm for like actual footage outside the house. I'm probably going to be leaning on licensed footage, things like that, news footage to kind of build out the meat of it.
Hmm. Wonderful. Well, good luck to you with all these projects. You're an amazing storyteller, and I'm glad to see that these projects are continuing along, and looking forward to what comes out of it. Thank you so much for your time and talking to us, and good luck with you. Good luck to you on these projects, and please keep us posted.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Be
take care,
safe out.
Shiraz. Yeah, talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.